What if your true purpose isn't something you choose, but something that chooses you? Carl Jung believed that inside each of us, there is a path, not obvious, not easy, but deeply personal, that calls us to become who we are meant to be. Think about it. How many times have you felt like something is missing, even when everything looks fine on the outside? You might be sitting in an office, hitting targets, doing everything right. And yet, deep down, you feel disconnected. Jung would say, that quiet ache inside you is not a flaw. It's a signal. In this video, we'll explore how Jung saw the search for purpose, and why it might not be a search at all. Carl Jung was a Swiss psychiatrist, philosopher, and one of the most influential thinkers of the 20th century. Unlike Freud, who focused on trauma and desire, Jung believed the human soul was also reaching for meaning, for wholeness. He introduced ideas like the shadow, the collective unconscious, and individuation, ideas that continue to shape how we think about psychology, myth, and the soul. But more than that, Jung saw human life as a profound unfolding, a spiritual and psychological quest. Jung believed that our life's purpose is not to become someone else, but to become ourselves. He called this process individuation, the journey of integrating all parts of who we are. It's like when a person in midlife, after years of trying to be successful, suddenly finds themselves painting late at night, writing poems, or feeling drawn to meditation. On the outside, nothing has changed, but inside, something is stirring. Something more authentic is asking to be seen. But to begin that journey, we must confront what he called the shadow, the hidden aspects of our personality that we deny, avoid, or fear. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. The shadow might show up as the part of you that gets jealous, that procrastinates, that quietly judges, or the part that wants to sing, but never felt allowed to. Our shadow isn't evil, it's just unseen, and it often contains not only what we're ashamed of, but also the gold of our unlived potential. To ignore it is to live only half a life. For Jung, purpose was never a job or a goal. It wasn't found in what you do, but in who you are becoming. It was a path, unfolding moment by moment, step by step. A mother who rediscovers her love for music after her children leave home. A teacher who secretly wanted to write and finally opens a blank page. These are not career moves. These are soul movements. We don't find our purpose like a prize. We live into it, by following what feels real, even when it's hard. By listening to what calls us, even if it scares us. By becoming radically honest with ourselves, especially when it's uncomfortable. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. Jung believed the unconscious mind was always speaking to us through symbols, dreams, and what he called synchronicities. Have you ever had a dream that felt more vivid than life itself? Or a moment when you thought of someone and they called you? Or maybe you stumbled on a book that just happened to answer the very question you've been quietly carrying. These are not accidents. Jung called them invitations. And yet, the journey isn't simple. He believed the road to purpose would include confusion, suffering, even descent into darkness. He called it the night sea journey, the descent into the unknown parts of the self. There is no coming to consciousness without pain. We want purpose to be easy, obvious. But sometimes it starts with getting lost. Sometimes we must fall apart to see what's trying to be born. So what is the self that calls us? For Jung, the self wasn't just the ego, the I we usually identify with. The self was the totality of who we are, both conscious and unconscious, both light and shadow. It's the soul's image in us, our inner wholeness, waiting to be realized. And purpose? Purpose is not some grand mission given from outside. It's the slow emergence of the self into our everyday life, into our choices, relationships, work, creativity. You might be cooking for friends and feel alive. You might find joy teaching your child how to ride a bike, or peace walking alone by the ocean. These are not small things. They are clues. Jung's idea of archetypes is also crucial. They are mythic energies, the healer, the teacher, the explorer, expressing themselves through us. But the goal is not to become the archetype. It's to let it shape us, and then return to who we really are. So how do you find your true purpose? Maybe you don't. Maybe your purpose finds you when you are finally quiet enough to listen. Purpose is not a destination. It's not a title. It's a slow becoming, a deep unfolding of the one thing no one else on earth can be: you. Who looks outside, dreams. Who looks inside, awakens. Carl Jung.